Okay, hello everyone. I have not done this in a while, um, but I wanted to give thoughts on Avengers Endgame now that I've seen it. So, spoilers from the get-go, as the title of this video that I'm most likely going to use should say. But I basically just put this to Splatoon footage because I figured, well, screw it. That way you've got something to stare at while I talk. Oh, and expect a lot of coughing. So, yeah. Um, yeah, spoilers are out the bat. Pretty much everything I wanted out of this movie, to a point, I got. And, yeah, it's like, it is, it's weird. I'm trying to think, is this the best movie they've made? And I don't know if I can. You know what? It made me cry multiple times, so yes. I mean, to be fair, some of the reason that is the case is because there were movies prior that allowed the build. I'll put it this: yeah, this paid off. I was hyped for this movie, and I was not let down. And that's mainly what I wanted, just to not be let down. Granted, this had a this had a lot to live up to, and um, there was every chance that they could have fucked it up. But at least for me, like, I could see people having issues with this movie. Um, but yeah, personally, I enjoyed the absolute hell out of this movie. Which, of course, I say spoilers off the bat, and then I basically give the equivalent of a non-spoilery thing. So yeah, spoilers from now. One thing I didn't expect from this fucking movie, it's a time travel movie. Was not expecting that at all, which I'm so damn glad that the trailers don't hint at that in any way, because I can remember people saying, oh, those suits, Avengers suits they're putting on, they're just those suits are just like fucking gonna be like, they have to wear this to go into space. Nope. Literally within the first 5 minutes, they have gone to um like 5 to 10 minutes. They go to the planet that Thanos was left on, and it turns out he's already destroyed the stones. He's used them for the purpose that he wanted, and to make sure no one could undo it, he used the stones to destroy them. Which is like, okay, that's a thing. And at first they are very panicky and stuff, and they're all like, well, clearly he's got to be lying, but Nebula's like, no, he's not lying. There's no way he would be lying. Again, sorry about the coughing, but you'll have to deal with it. And then, yeah, Thor kills him. And from then on, it's basically, 5 years actually passed as well, which is like, shit, okay. And then, yeah, it turns into essentially a time travel movie, because it turns out that Scott Lang was only gone for 5 hours despite the 5-year jump. And yeah, it basically turns into what they end up referring to as a time heist. Where they end up having to... They basically go to different periods of time in the MCU canon so far. It's kind of like all over the place in a way. It's like it's not all phase 1 or all phase 2. There's a bit from each. Though it is kind of funny because they realize, oh wait, if we go to New York at the right year, we'll get 3 Infinity Stones for the price of 1. And it's not easy for them to get the Infinity Stones collected in that particular way, which I did like. And they have to fuck around with it. And there's actually a period in time that we haven't seen before, I don't think, at all. Where we visit the base from Winter Soldier and, well, just generally the first 2 Cap films. But instead of it being either current day or back in the, what, 40s? 40s or 50s? Instead of that, we've got we get to see them in the 70s. So we get to see an older Howard Stark, but not old. Which kind of makes it awkward because they have a different actor from... Like, having rewatched Captain America the First Avenger, it's like, oh yeah, they have young Howard Stark, and then inexplicably, it only takes him like 20 years to transform into the actor that they've used every time since. Which is like, holy shit. Okay, are we just supposed to take it as like the guy who's played his dad every time since is his dad? Just retcon it? Or like what? But anyway. And there are probably like nitpicky things like that you could point out about this movie in general. And time travel itself is something that the movie kind of takes a shot at, because like they bring up a lot of time travel movies, and it's like, oh well, in this movie this and this and this and this and this and this, and you have to adhere to this and this. But you know, they basically shoot down a lot of that stuff. Again, sorry, I am sort of sick. But God knows I wasn't going to miss this fucking movie for anything. Whoop. Oh God, what can I talk about other than that? Josh Brolin was great. The acting in general was great. I mean, hell, the movie opens with the only person whose perspective we haven't seen yet, as far as the snap goes, in that we see how Hawkeye lost his family. Which I feel everyone probably saw coming a mile away, or at least most people did. I mean, without them even really having to show it, the fact that he's basically turned into Ronin is like, okay, yeah. He's He's lost them. So actually being able to see that moment was both nice and sad. It did make me cry, which I was actually kind of expecting. Even though I don't have all that much emotional attachment to Hawkeye. Granted, who does? Which, I mean, you know. It's nothing against Jeremy Renner or anything like that. It's just overall, Hawkeye, until this movie really, Hawkeye hasn't really contributed that much in the grand scheme. Which does kind of suck, but oh well, he survives, so that's a thing. However, that's one thing I will talk about. Of all the characters I thought that was going to exit in this movie, and there are a couple, or a couple that are absolutely confirmed as yes, they are never coming back. One of the ones confirmed is they're dead, and they are not coming back, is Black Widow. I can tell you right now, I did not call that, and I would never have called that. Of all of the Phase 1 characters, that is one person that I thought, oh, she's gonna get her own movie, she ain't dying. And technically, they could still do a movie with her, it'd just have to be like, you know, maybe they could do a movie where we get to see how she joins S.H.I.E.L.D., or just her doing a mission for S.H.I.E.L.D. prior to the Avengers or Iron Man 2 or whatever. So it's still possible. I mean, hell, Captain Marvel was set in the friggin' 90s. They could very easily make a Black Widow film where it's set that she hasn't joined them yet, or maybe she's joining them at the time, or whatever. And holy shit, people, I just won 3 on 2. That was pretty sweet. And I wasn't even paying it, you know, I wasn't completely fucked because I was talking about this movie. And I guess to talk about the other deaths, Gamora's permanent. We've learned that now. Gamora's death was permanent. I mean, she does come in at the final battle, which I'll get to. But it's... I mean, this is time travel. It's past Gamora coming. It's Guardians 1 Gamora showing up. So, Guardians 2 / Infinity War Gamora is dead and gone, and that's it. And that actually ties into Black Widow, because apparently we now know that if you were sacrificed for someone else to get the Soul Stone, that's it. You are tied to the Soul Stone forever in the MCU anyway. As far as I know, what little I know relatively about the comics, that is not the case. And that's actually why Gamora was a character where I'm like, okay, if they bring her back from the dead, of the people who didn't die in the snap, I could buy that. Because souls have been bound to the Soul Stone before in the comics, as far as I'm aware, and have come back. So, yeah, the fact that that was confirmed, no, she's gone. For good. Which fucking sucks, because I loved Gamora. I really wanted her to come back. But hey, I also wanted permanent deaths, so I'll take it. Like, I do give them credit for standing by that and being like, no, she's dead. She's not coming back. And, you know, I mean, this is comic book logic. She could still come back at some point. We don't know. I mean, Adam Warlock hasn't been introduced yet. Maybe him being introduced will have something. But yeah, that's gonna be weird. Like, Guardians 3 is the reason I thought she would be coming back. Which, to me, that says that James Gunn knew well ahead of time. Especially since he had a finalized script that they are going to use again, now that he's back as director on that movie. Though I think they were going to use his script anyway, but I forget. And yeah, I'm not going to go into absolutely every detail of the movie, because otherwise I'll be here forever, and this video is going to be long enough as is. But I guess going into other deaths, Loki is not in this movie at all. Well, actually, no. Now that I think about it, there is a way that he could technically still be alive. Because in one of the heists bits that goes wrong is that Loki manages to escape with the Tesseract. In the Avengers 1 ending. So they've now retconned that, possibly. Unless, like, the idea is that, no, everything got restored back to normal, then yes, Loki absolutely did die. And is never coming back. Which is also why I'm not surprised that the Disney Plus about that, but again, sick, sort of. So yeah, so Loki's dead, as far as we know. They could always say otherwise, but I'm gonna stand by that now. As far as I am concerned, yes, Loki is dead. When Thanos said, no resurrections this time, that was the filmmakers in my head saying, yeah, he's gone, he ain't coming back. Even with the time fuckery that's going on, he ain't coming back at all. They didn't really answer the question of where the fuck Gamora went, but after the fight at the end of the movie, you never see her again. So my understanding is that they sent her back to her own time, or she died again in that fight. Something to that effect. Yeah, she's gone. She is fucking gone. Gamora kills herself. Which in its own way, that sounds like I'm saying she, like, actually, committed suicide. No, I mean, Guardians 1 Gamora is shot to death by Endgame Gamora. Which is so weird a thing to have to say, but it's like, hey, it's fucking comic book movies. I'll let it slide. Let's see. Other deaths. Technically Cap. I'm leaving, like, the big one until last, but yeah. Captain America technically dies. Or, like, it's implied that, yeah, he's probably gonna die soon. Because, he is alone, sent back to put all of the time stones where all of the Infinity Stones, sorry, back where they were supposed to be. So, like, back where they got them from. So history could continue as it was supposed to. Up to their point. And, yeah, they send Steve to do it. And you can sort of see what is gonna happen just from that. But even then, it's still satisfying, because it turns out that he put them all back. And then just went back to his time and lived his life and had a life with Peggy Carter. They got married, they moved in together, they did, for all I know, they might have had kids. I don't know. Hell, don't even really know if Cap can have kids. For all we know, that procedure bloody sterilized him or something. Or made his freaking gunk radioactive. I don't know. And then there's the big death. Tony. I'm pretty sure we all knew it was coming. But yeah. The guy who started this whole thing is now gone. And honestly, the way he goes out, I'm fine with. Because basically, it is shown that using all 6 stones at once, if you aren't strong enough or you're in a weakened state when you use them to begin with, you pay a heavy price. And in this case, it's the big battle at the end of the movie. Literally everyone's there, and I'll go into more detail later. But yeah, literally everyone is there for the big fight at the end of the movie. And Thanos almost gets his hand on a Tony Stark equivalent of the Infinity Gauntlet. And what happens? He manages to rush Thanos. And without Thanos realizing it, steal the Infinity Stones off the damn gauntlet. So when he goes to do the snap, which in this case would have eradicated all life in the universe except him, so he could start anew. Yeah, Tony gets them. They go into the suit that he's wearing at the time, the Iron Man armor that he's wearing at the time. And he snaps, and all of Thanos' forces are wiped out. And then, yeah, they find him. Both Rhodey and Pepper have a moment with him, and then he's gone. And I must admit, I didn't cry when he died as much as my body wanted to. For some reason, I couldn't. But the funeral stuff after that, that's what broke me. And like leading into the funeral procession and shit like that, that broke me. And some people laughed at it, but there's a scene specifically. This might even been like a thing after the funeral, so we don't get to see the funeral proper, but we see this little thingy after, this little get together after. They have like a wreath, and they let it out into this lake near this house that Tony and Pepper have at this point. That they live in with their daughter, because yeah, they have a daughter now. That the baby Morgan that Tony was like talking about, hinting at in in Infinity War, that kid happened. And the events of the movie did not undo that. Which I'm glad. I am glad that that kid is still a thing. And it's not like all this time travel bullshit undid that kid's existence. and he dies. That would have been like a bit of a cop-out. And pretty mean-spirited, probably, as well. But, I mean, like, you know, it probably could have worked to just have the kid not exist, but, yeah. I'm honestly pretty fine with that kid still existing. And would kind of prefer that to have been the case than not. Yeah, when they put the wreath out, you notice that it has an Easter egg attached to it from Iron Man 1. The original God, I cannot remember what the fuck it is called off the top of my head. But the thing that essentially powered Tony, his first chest piece, I guess is a good way to put it. You'll know what I mean. And the present, it's the version that Pepper gave to him as a present, where it has the proof that Tony has a heart. Proof that Tony Stark has a heart. Which that broke me. Like, some people were laughing, and that actually kind of pissed me off. But I still, like, that was, yeah, that touch got me. But yeah. So Tony saves the day, wipes out Thanos and his forces. Cap gets a happy ending and passes the fucking mantle onto Sam Wilson. Fuck yes. That's what I got. I cried. I fucking cried when that happened. And you know why? Because I fucking wanted that to happen so bad. So many fucking people were telling me, oh no, it's gonna be Bucky. And even I was like, well, yeah, I guess looking at it realistically, it probably will be Bucky. But I still wanted it so fucking bad to be... I still wanted it so bad to be that son of a bitch. And he got it. You know? The motherfucker got it. Cap hands him the fucking shield. Old man Cap hands him the fucking shield. Not Bucky. Bucky is watching and is letting this happen. He doesn't give a shit. He's like, this is your moment, dude. And like, Sam is like overcome with it because either he doesn't think it's worthy, he either doesn't think he's worthy or whatever, and you know, Cap's like, hey, basically tells him, yes, you fucking are. Fuck yes. I want Cap 4 with fucking Captain Falcon, motherfuckers. I want it. I fucking want it. They're getting a Disney show that's Falcon and him, but I want a fucking movie with Sam Wilson as Captain America. I fucking want that shit now. Okay? That better be a fucking Phase 4 movie or I'll be pissed. And yeah, again, they're getting a streaming show, but as far as I'm concerned, if he's taken on the mantle of Captain America, that fucking needs his own movie. Because Tony dies, we never get a passing of the torch to see if War Machine becomes the new Iron Man. Which, hey, that was a thing technically in the comics. He was in Iron Man's suit at one point. I've watched Linkara. Apparently he was in the Iron Man suit in friggin' the original Secret Wars. So it is an established bit of canon that Rhodey has been Iron Man before. But even if he isn't, I want War Machine to get more shit to do. Because I love the fact that he got so much to do in this movie. I mean, it might not seem like a fuckload in the grand scheme, but he did shit. Everyone did shit. Characters you didn't think would do much did shit. Hell, fucking Pepper is in the final battle. Fuck yes. In an Iron Man type suit. Pepper got her own fucking suit. Yes. Gwyneth Paltrow, from what I can remember of the behind the scenes stuff, ever since they fucking teased it, with Tony allowing her to, like, making the armor go onto her in, oh my god, I think it has to have been Iron Man 3. Ever since then, or even before, Gwyneth Paltrow has been like, oh, I really hope I get a thing of armor at some point. That'd be so cool. And she fucking gets it. And I fucking cry. I teared up. Like, that was... I was just like, fuck yes. And even then, they're like... They're playing a bit of hot potato, trying to get the, in the final battle, which I guess I might as well just go into now. At the final battle, they're, trying to hot potato the Stark Gauntlet, for lack of a... Oh, yeah. I'll just call it the Stark Gauntlet from now. They're hot potatoing it between a few people. T'Challa has it at one point. And then Spidey gets it. And out of nowhere, Spidey's getting knocked around. Or overwhelmed. And who saves him? Fucking Pepper. And it also might have been Captain Marvel as well. Actually, no, yeah. Sorry, it was. Getting a bit confused. Or I just really wanted it to be Pepper. But anyway, Carol Danvers shows up, gives it, like, he hands it over. And Peter's just like, it's, like, how are you gonna get, like, are you sure you're gonna get through to it? There's, like, a lot of people. And just all of the women of the MCU come up and are just like, don't worry, she'll have backup. And I'm just like, fuck yes. I cried. Once again, I fucking teared up because it was just like, yes, give me this, please. Shuri, who was apparently dusted but is back for this. Okoye, Valkyrie, Mantis, I think Gamora, Nebula. It just, oh, it was so great. Like, that whole fucking sequence where they're helping each other out, that shit was great. I don't honestly remember if Mantis did anything in that. But even if she didn't, the fact that she is there, which shows that she's gone from being this really, you know, she started off as this very, very meek person, and here she is being like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna help. Is like, that means a lot to me. That she had that little moment. In general, they all have a moment like that in that way. Thor, who I guess I should talk about now as well. The idea is that, yeah, he cuts off Thanos' head because of all the shit that's happened, and he's just like, well, fuck. We've lost, but I still want to kill him anyway, fuck you. And then he basically, falls into, you know, I'm gonna just say it's like, someone can correct me, but to me it seemed a lot like he's just hit a depressive funk, where it's like, oh, this is all my fault because I fucked up, and he's fallen into a drunken stupor where he is, actually, it's been so long that in the 5 years time gap, he has actually gotten fat. But it's like that kind of muscular fat where he's like, he's still fat, like he's fat, but he's got like still relatively muscular arms. His hair's kind of his hair's grown out and he's kind of got dreads going, but it's not really like, oh, he's just suddenly trying to be Rasta or something. It's just, you know, this dude clearly has not showered in like 5 years. Or has at least not washed his hair in like a long fucking time, so it just looks vaguely like dreads. Like, not exactly like dreads, but it looks like if he left it a bit longer, it'd start to go a bit dready. It generally looks like this dude is basically Thor as a hobo. Which is kind of funny, because in that way it almost feels a bit more like some of the Thor antics from Ragnarok in a way. But and he does come out of the super eventually. I mean, he gets to have a chat with his mum and is basically like, okay, yes, I'm serious about this shit now. So that gets him out of the funk he was in. And then on top of all that, while they're in there, because they're in the Thor 2 timeline, so we get a little cameo from I was about to say Naomi Watts. Sorry. Natalie Portman. And Thor's mum, because again, they were in there, so he gets to have a chat with his mum before she dies. And he steals Mjolnir from himself, which is pretty funny. We don't see the other Thor just being like, wait, what the fuck? Where'd Mjolnir go? But yeah, he takes Mjolnir from that, and it's funny because at first it almost seems like he only really did it to prove that he was still worthy, because it does come to him and he can hold it. So in the final battle later, he is wielding both Mjolnir and Stormbreaker, which in itself is pretty fucking sweet. That being said, he does lose it later, because one other thing about this final battle, where it's all of Thanos' forces have come in to attack them because of what they've done, and because past Nebula has stolen something that allows them to get there with their time travel method. That basically she took something from current day Nebula, that allowed them to time travel, to use the time travel mechanic to get there. And there is a point where Thor is looking like he's gonna die, trying really hard to fight back, because Thanos is basically trying to do to Thor what Thor did to Thanos at the end of Infinity War. And yeah, they show Mjolnir coming for someone. Like, Mjolnir comes at him and knocks Thanos off of Thor. However, it isn't because it was being summoned, it's because Cap threw it. Which, that was like, of all the things that I almost just went, fuck yeah, in the cinema over, that was goddamn one of them. Holy shit. Yes. Cap wields Mjolnir. And not only that, not just using it normally, that fucker uses it in conjunction with his shield and also brings the fucking lightning. Like, just fuck yes. Of course he's worthy. And even friggin' Thor is like smiling about it and just being like, essentially says, I knew it. Like, even he knew. Which, you could argue that this goes against what happens in, the Avengers. Age of Ultron. I almost said the original one, but no. It's in, Age of Ultron, where they're all having a go, trying to lift it, and Steve budges it, and Thor kind of looks panicky, and Steve's just like, oh no, I can't do it. To me, that says that no, he could lift it, but he chose not to. And that Thor has known this entire time that, of course he's fucking worthy. He's Captain America. Like, this dude has been worthy this whole goddamn time. Why the fuck wouldn't he be able to lift this goddamn thing? Though, of course, there is the other thing where clearly Stormbreaker does not have that enchantment on it. And thus, I'm pretty sure both Captain America and Thanos both use it at different times. And there's a lot of team-up stuff in that big fight at the end. But yeah, that end fight made me cry. When you've got all these forces of Thanos showing up. And only, like, maybe a couple of the Avengers there. And then all of a sudden... you start seeing some very specific sorcerer shit going on. And a crap ton of portals open. And the Wakandans show up. Everyone who... basically, yeah, everyone who died in Infinity War, who was a part of the Snap show up. All of that. Just a lot of fucking people from fucking everywhere show up to fight Thanos' forces. And I was just like, fuck yes. Now, the fact that we don't see, Nick Fury in this fight does kind of bother me. I mean, for all I know, he was in there, but I just couldn't see him. And Maria Hill wasn't in there. But yeah, pretty much everyone else is. So... pardon me. But yeah, that end fight. Honestly, the funny thing about that was, the longer that went, the more I was like, dude, why the fuck wasn't this movie called Infinity War? Because honestly, I feel like they should have done the naming convention of the comics. Because while the comics storyline Infinity War has nothing to do with either movie, This battle at the end, that was the Infinity War. I'm sorry, but that was the Infinity War. Not the previous movie. The previous movie should have just been called Infinity Gauntlet, and this should have been called Infinity War. It would have made so much sense. Yeah, that's just me. People can agree, disagree. I don't really give a shit. But that should have been called Infinity War and not Endgame. And the previous movie should have been Infinity Gauntlet. Or something else, anyway. Or just Infinity. Or something like that. Because, yeah, this is the one that Infinity War felt like it had more attachment to. Just because all that all-out fucking war for the final fight was just... yes. So, and as far as things go that I wanted to happen, and they have basically happened, Sam Wilson is taking over as Captain America now. Whether by name or as more of a, hey, here's my shield, carry on the legacy. Like, whatever. If he's just still Sam Wilson or still the Falcon, but he's like Captain America colors or some shit like that, I'll take it. I'll take what I can fucking get. But I want that shit now that it's canon, and I want it. Like, in a movie. Not just a fucking TV show, okay? Fuck you, Disney, if that's all he gets is that fucking streaming show. Where he's not even, like... it's not even just him. It's him and Bucky. Like... No. I want a Captain America fucking movie with that fucker in it. As the lead. And on top of that, at the end of the movie, Thor basically goes, okay, I need to figure out who I am, and, you know, after all this shit's gone down, I just need to get the hell out of here for a while. So he leaves Valkyrie in charge of, like, he just hands over the lead of the Asgardian people to Valkyrie. Because, of course, they're all, like, you know, they need their king or whatever, and it's like, oh yeah, well, that's your job now. Kind of a deal. And it's like, he is dead fucking serious about it. It's like, yeah, no, you're taking over. It's up to you now, because I'm getting the hell out of here. So Valkyrie's in charge now, and he goes off with the Guardians of the Galaxy, which is pretty much everyone, including Nebula now. And obviously, again, not Gamora, because she is perma-dead. Which is gonna make... That's gonna make that so weird. Because you can just know that the movie... Like, I really hope that the movie is not about the absence of Gamora. I really do not want that to be the case. Like, a bit of it here and there, but I don't want fucking Star-Lord to be in this weird funk because Gamora's gone. Like, no. I want there to be an acknowledgement of it, yes. I don't want them to just outright ignore that she's gone. But I also don't want them to dwell on it too much. At least with Quill. With Nebula, I could understand more. Or hell, it could have Nebula and, like, a scene similar to Mantis and Drax in Guardians 2. The scene they have where Drax is going on about his daughter. And seems content. And then when Mantis puts her hand on him, she realizes that he's actually, like, just very well outwardly masking the actual emotions he's feeling, describing all this stuff. I'd be fine with something like that between Nebula and Quill, but that's about as much as I'd want. I wouldn't. Yeah, again, I don't want Guardians 3 to be a movie about the absence of Gamora. Now, if they bring it back, then okay, but otherwise, don't. Especially since, again, we have seemingly established that if you die to get the Soul Stone, you're done. So, Nat's gone, and Gamora is perma gone. Short of some other fuckery. I feel like the only thing that I wanted that didn't happen was some other cosmic entities showing up. Like, to be fair, ones that I just know of them, but I don't really know much about them. Like, the Living Tribunal, who has been mentioned in the MCU, offhandedly, but not shown, which is, I want that entity to show up. Just because I feel like that whole idea of this three-headed dude who passes judgment on stuff and can, you know, pass on the stuff of the stones and all that. And the stones are gone, by the way, I should say. The current day stuff where Thanos had destroyed them is still intact in the current day that they're stuck in. So the stones that are in the past are fine, but basically it's like time travel's the only way they're ever coming back as well. Because they were all put back in their proper places. Which I must admit, before the time travel shit came up, the way that I thought this was going to go down was, which I'm kind of glad it didn't, because this movie subverted the absolute hell out of my expectations. But I was kind of expecting Thor would basically act as the Adam Warlock of this movie and would set up an Infinity Watch of his own, involving, like, either, like, so, you know, they just split them up in their own time. But given what happens, it's like, oh, well, shit, we can't do that now. So, okay, but, oh well. Nice as it would have been, I'm fine with the Infinity Stones just being gone. Because, like, once you've used them for this story, it's like, what else is there to really do with them? And it also falls into it, like, it could have been a crux. It's like, we've been using them for fucking, like, 11 years. Let's just let it die now. That I can be like, okay, that's perfectly fine. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing where we go from here. Although, I really wish that they had not basically just gone, oh yeah, we're gonna bury the lead, and of course Spidey's coming back, so Spider-Man Far From Home is coming out, like, what, 2 to 3 months after this movie? Like, what the fuck, Marvel? That was such a dumb thing to do, in my opinion. Or at least, like, this movie should have come out way later. Because if it came out later, then you could have started advertising it later. And it wouldn't be such a fucking big deal. Because it's like, well. Eh, crap. Fuck it. So yeah, absolutely love this movie. I'm going to see it again. I am going to see it again. However, I went to the movies basically, if you count like every single day I went to the movies, I went to the movies 7 days in a row. Or at least it felt like it. Let's see. Sorry, 6. I can't count, apparently. Yeah, 6 days straight I went to the movies. Never doing that again. But yeah. Because there was just so many movies I wanted to see all coming out. Or that were all, like, out that I hadn't seen yet and all that, so now that's out of my system. I ain't going to the movies again for another, like, 2 weeks. And even then, that'll probably be to see an old movie. But yeah, I don't know how many times total I'm going to see it. But I am going to see this movie at least 2 or 3 more times in the cinemas. So, yeah, if you've seen it, which I would hope so, considering you're watching this, and if you are watching this, thank you, by the way. I guess to end it on, again, I'm gonna see this again. I fucking loved it. Thank you. If this is the last thing the Russo brothers do in the MCU, I will be content with that. I would hope that they would continue to do Marvel movies, even if it's just on like a way more infrequent basis, so they can do their own shit. Like that, I'm fine with. But yeah, if this is the last movie we get from the Russos for the MCU, then I am content as hell with them leaving on this high note. That being said, I wish the trolley little shits had told us blatantly that there were no end credit scenes, because I didn't find out until I was in the movie, and I didn't trust it until I heard it myself. Apparently the local cinema's like Facebook page had put it out there that, yeah, no, there are no credit scenes, don't worry about it. But I didn't know that because I didn't see that post because I was at work all day. And I don't really check their Facebook page, so, you know, whatever. So, you know, that was annoying to have to deal with because the filmmakers didn't seem to make it clear from the get-go, leading in, that, yeah, no, there isn't going to be one, so don't worry about it. And it was funny because at the same time, at first I was kind of disappointed, but then after thinking about it, it's like, well, what the hell were they gonna do? I don't know what they could have done, short of just hyping up a new movie. Because everything they needed to get across in the movie, they got across in the movie. We know where everyone's going, which, let's face it, that's really all they could have done. Was, here's where everyone ends up. Or here's where this person ends up. Here's where this person ends up. And the fact that the movie goes the way it does, it's like, well, we already know where these people end up or are going to end up. So we don't have to worry about that so much. Yeah, it would have been nice, but either way, great movie, loved it. Very arguably my favorite MCU film to date. So I hope this makes more money than Infinity War did, to be quite honest. Because I feel it deserves it. So, I'm Thomas Firehart. I'm going to stop recording now so I can upload this damn thing. So yeah. I'll see you guys next time, even though I doubt I'll be doing anything like this again, and you'll just have to put up with my friggin' Splatfest stuff after this, gradually. Yeah. See yous.